Right. Just getting the stream set up. We are live on X. Just waiting for YouTube to connect. We're live on YouTube. Let's go. Hard head, hacker head. What's going on, bro? How you doing this fabulous Saturday? I guess it's almost evening for you, right? Still mid-afternoon for me. We are going to work on a couple projects today. Just doing some workflow enhancement on the content command center. I did finally get to use it to actually make a video this week, and just found some different things that I don't fully love that I want to get tightened up. And then also going to do a little bit of work on the Vibe Code Guild community brain. I've found some holes in the thing that I built to consume all the news and links and stuff. Nothing major, but my first version of it definitely exposes some attack surfaces that I want to reel in and make sure aren't available. Okay, so this is the video I released a couple days ago, and we're going to use this as our test project because it's already done. And I'm going to be working in Grok with this. So I'm just telling Grok here, one of the other major shortcomings is the transcript editor stage 4, the render cut preview. So it takes a really long time to render it, and then every time I try to make manual adjustments or add a manual clip, I have to wait for it to re-render. I know CapCut can handle live edits without an entire re-render, so I'm just trying to figure out what we're doing differently. So after I've gone through and done all my transcript edits and dialed in the exact words and splices that I want, I have this thing to like just watch it through one time and make sure that I haven't missed anything. And as you can see, it takes a long time to render it, which seems kind of dumb compared to CapCut, where you're just clipping and then you can just play right through immediately. There's none of this re-render stuff. And then also, once this is done, there are some controls in there to add manual cuts. Like every once in a while, the transcript just doesn't get words that were duplicated perfectly. And so as I go through that one last time, I want the ability to add manual splices in there. But then whenever I add a manual splice, it basically forces this rendering process again. So it just becomes very burdensome and time consuming. And what I've been doing for a workaround in my process now is just putting the final cut into CapCut and then doing it. But again, my goal with all of this is to never have to touch CapCut again. So this has been on the back burner because, again, the bigger problem that I needed to deal was with the graphics library, and I had a way to manage around this. I didn't have a good way to deal with the graphics library, so I wanted to get that solved first and come back to this. So that's a principle I always follow of trying to identify the biggest problems in terms of what will have the biggest impact on the overall time of your process and attacking those first. I think too much time and energy gets wasted on these pipe dreams of creating something that's 100% automated, where, you know, you can spend 50% of the time making something that's 90% of the way automated, and then take the other 50%, automate something else 90% of the way, and suddenly you've got 180% automation for the same time investment. So that's how I think about that. All right, so what did Grok say? We're going to do some reading. Tell you what, if you do not like reading, vibe coding is not the job for you. You working on anything out there today, hacker? So CapCut is a timeline player. CapCut never re-encodes while you edit. Stores, keeps the source on disk, stores an edit decision list, which I think is what we do. Multiplayer for tip-tap games? That's cool. Do you guys have any kind of like leaderboard where you can like store high scores or something like that? Stage 3 splice review. What is it talking about? I don't think that works out instead. Oh, there's a leaderboard function. That's cool. I didn't get to play around with it too much because I opened it up on my phone this morning, and I'm an old man, so that phone screen wasn't really big enough for me to see all the detail that was going on all the games. I really liked that music on the Frogpocalypse, though. That was nice. I like the game concept too. Running around zapping bugs. It kind of reminded me of a different version, like a better version of Asteroids. I don't know. Are you possibly too young to have ever played Asteroids, the Atari game? Yeah, I think that that's what we want to do. So basically, this stage 4 is actually doing a render that's pretty much the same as our final export. When that's not really what I want to do. What I want to do is just see, all of our stitched splices together. Nice. Yeah, that was what the Frogpocalypse definitely reminded me of Asteroids, where you're just kind of in the middle trying to shoot all the different things at you. And then I liked how it had the weapons upgraded. Although I couldn't tell if I pick a weapon, am I getting rid of the weapon that I already had? Or are they building on top of each other and like they're all leveling up so that eventually I become the ultimate frog with all of the levels? Like that part was hard for me to understand. But again, I was playing on my phone, so I couldn't really see all the detail. I couldn't really see any of the words on the upgrades because I'm an old man with terrible eyes. I realize this is a restream. You mean that I'm streaming on X and YouTube at the same time? Is that what you're telling me, Jesse? Or are you trying to tell me of something else that I didn't know? No, we're live. This is real. So Restream is a software that you can use to broadcast the same stream to multiple platforms. I have the free version, which just allows me to go to 2 platforms. So right now I'm just broadcasting on YouTube and Twitter right now. I wanted to try it out a few and see how I like it. And then at some point I'll upgrade to a paid version, which will allow me to stream on 5 platforms at the same time. So that's what that is. I am super amateur at this streaming concept. Open to all suggestions, hacks, ideas, anything that anyone knows how I can make this better. But you got to start somewhere and just try to get better every day. You can't get yourself locked up in trying to be perfect at the beginning. All right. Check mark for... Okay, so what we've got is on this stage 4 where it's supposed to be about dialing in the just one final preview and making sure that all my splices are perfect and then adding any if I need to. It ended up basically duplicating what our final edit does, and that's why it takes so long. So what we're doing is we're moving this more towards like a CapCut architecture where it's just going to play the stitch together. And then at the end, I've got the ability to do the final export. One of the things that's built in here is you have the selection to use my audio normalizer when you export it, but you see how it's off by default? I don't like that, so I'm asking it to just go ahead and leave that selected by default so that it's not something that I forget. And then one last thing. So I noticed when I was doing my last video, when I click export, I forgot to click this. So I wanted to stop it, but on the pop-up that shows the progress, there was no cancel. There was no way to stop the job. So I asked Grok to go ahead and add that cancel feature in there too. Restream is usually used on platforms like Twitch. Yeah. Whenever I upgrade, I will start broadcasting on Twitch. I was trying to decide what the 5 are that I should. Like what makes the most sense? What do you guys think? Gotta be careful. I'm gonna end up showing my stuff here. Actually, here, I know how to do this simple. So we will pop an incognito browser so that it doesn't carry over any of my sign-in information, so that I can just look at the plans and pricing. So yeah, the standard for 16 I get on 3 channels, so $16 per month for 1 channel is kind of lame. But for 39 I can go on 5 channels at once. But I don't know what all the channels are. +30 social channels. What are the social channels? Why can't I click in and see it? We'll just start with this. So obviously YouTube and Twitter I want to be on. Then I would add in TikTok. Possibly Twitch too, although isn't Twitch like really young people? Would they like want to see an old man be writing code? LinkedIn one's interesting because I've got a really good professional network on LinkedIn. I just don't know if people go on LinkedIn and actually watch streams. which may be a benefit because maybe I'm the only one on there, so I end up with all of the audience because I'm the only one doing it. What is the platforms? I don't want to sign up. I just want to know what they all are. That's not it. Build a community on all platforms. Why can I not find a simple list of what the platforms are? That's lame. That's shitty user interface, you guys. Don't make a claim and then I can't dial in and see, you know, the details of that claim. 30 platforms. Where are the platforms? There, supported platforms and tools. Why do I have to go Google to find that? That's so stupid. It should be right there, a big giant blinking thing right in the middle of the screen. This is where we are. Okay, so YouTube is definite one. Twitter is definitely one. I think the rest of these are just software. So social platforms will narrow it down. Wow, there's a lot. I've never even heard of most of these. All right, what should I pick when I get going? So I got 5. So these two, I'm gonna drop. I think I'm gonna put TikTok in there. Although I hate TikTok, it just feels like complete toxic nonsense. I hate it, but I know a lot of people are on it. Insta. What do you think? What do you guys actually use? Not TikTok? Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. TikTok just feels like brain rot, like it's specifically designed to make you stupider. And Twitch, I mean, isn't Twitch mostly just for playing video games? Like, do people actually want to watch people do development on Twitch? I know that's a big one. I thought about Kick or Rumble. I think Kick has been pouring a ton of money into building their platform. Like, I know they just like hired Rampage Jackson over there from Rumble or something like that. Okay, Twitch does have software dev stream. Okay, so now we're down. Okay, so YouTube X, Twitter. We'll pick Twitch. Facebook. I feel like Facebook's probably a good one. Okay, Kick wouldn't be professional. I mean, it depends on what you mean by professional. Like uptight. Like I'm definitely okay with like a little wildness and excitement. I'm not trying to keep it corporate. That's why I don't know if I want to do LinkedIn, because LinkedIn you have to watch what you say, and also that platform just kind of sucks in general. Let's move that off to the side for now. Let's go back to Grokster and see what he said. Kick is a platform people that got banned from Twitch. Okay, yeah, I probably don't want to deal with that. Gonna have like a lot of like 4chan children and stuff like that. Silly little dinguses. Okay, what I asked for, stage 4, like CapCut. Yep. Okay, so he's saying he already did this stage form thing. How to use it, restart the API, what we deliberately left. Okay, cool. Grok's saying he already fixed this one. Let's test that, and then we'll get back to figuring out my Twitch issue. All right, this one. Let's reboot the server. Let's go back in my content command center, open up my project, and we'll go to 4. See, that was perfect, dude. That was like instant. All right, it's serious businesses are all in a panic rush. But when I say being AI native, it's strategically defensible, it's part of the everyday language. Okay, let's see. It means that you have successfully integrated AI tools and AI implementations into your organization in such a way that it just feels normal. It's okay, so let's add a manual cut. And processes. Even so the issue is when I add these manual ones, I can't see it. AI implemented in such a way that it feels like a core feature. If it is, that's being AI native. So when I say being AI native, it means that you have successfully integrated AI tools and that's AI right, baby. We're using Grok into your organization in such a way that it just feels normal. It's strategically defensible. It's part of the everyday language and thought process. Okay, so let's get a screen capture going. So I'm still not seeing my manual cuts reflected in the preview. Look at the screenshot. I need to be able to play the video and have those be respected so I can fine tune the frames. Why are you talking trash on Grok, bro? Why are you hating on Grok? So this project is super complicated. I've had Fable work on it. I've had ChatGPT Soul work on it. I've had everything work on it. And the only one that was able to really get this last graphics thing across the line was Grok, because Grok actually stays well behaved and does what you ask it. Whereas Fable and Saul try doing all this other extra stuff that you didn't ask for. And they output a lot of volume, but it's a lot of bad design. So don't hate on Grok, dude. Grok is highly, highly capable. And I recommend you know Grok, because if you look at the end state of these markets, OpenAI and Anthropic are going to be dead. They're not going to be companies that survive. It'll be Grok, it'll be Google Gemini, and then it'll probably be some other tools that we don't anticipate from either Microsoft or Amazon. Because Anthropic and OpenAI will more than likely burn all the cash that they have and die. A lot of people have been cutting their Anthropic subscriptions. I'm cutting mine down. I had a Max subscription, and I'm just going to drop it down to like the $20 one because it's just not worth it. I tried using Fable yesterday. One of the things I like to do before I do any kind of deployment is point all of the other models at whatever project I'm working on and have them all do independent security audits of the code base. And Fable refused. It said it wouldn't do it. It dropped me down to the Opus 4.8 model. Mostly use AI to draft a plan and do code review. It's still too unreliable at writing software. That is 100% false, my friend. I can pretty much guarantee that the AI models are better at writing software than you are. As evidenced by the fact that every major tech company no longer writes software the artisanal way. You like Opus 5? Dude, Opus 5 is terrible. That model lies constantly. It's not even in my stack anymore. I used it for about a half a day last week, and it, like, literally probably 2/3 of the responses I got back from it were just straight up lies and fabrications. I'm not even sure why they released that one, to be honest. Opus 4.8 was pretty solid. I got a lot done with Opus 4.8. 5 was just a constant liar. All right, but back to this question though. What platform should I be using? So we got YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. We said Kick is out. Facebook is in. So number 5 is down to Insta, LinkedIn, or Rumble. What's up with Rumble? I don't know anything about Rumble. You got approved for Anthropic security. How'd you do that? Do you just have friends on the inside, or is there a process that you do? I didn't even know that you could do that. Yeah, to each their own, dude. If it's working for you, use it. Yeah. Do you mind dropping that inside school? I'm sure that would be useful to everybody. I'll definitely get that filled out. That really, really pissed me off yesterday when it was just refusing to help me. And I was like arguing with it. I was like, dude, this is my code. Like, there's no security risk. I'm asking you to help me. And it just refused. So that would be helpful. I feel like it knows all the prompts that I typed in, so it should be able to make some kind of like risk assessment based on what we've done before. Like, I have never used it to try to penetrate anyone else's systems or ask about any of that kind of stuff because I have no interest in it. It should be able to, oh yeah, this guy's working on his own project. He's low risk. Wow, you're on Opus 5 too. Have you used Fable? Okay, so it said it's got this live preview fixed. And we're just going to go ahead and set a manual cut in there. And then when I play it, it should pass through this. It's strategically defensible. It's part of the everyday language and thought process used by the people that make your company successful. With that back of these tech hype bubbles, my first one was the .coms when I was in college. Okay, so I think that it is doing the cut, but I don't think that it's actually moving the indicator to the right spot. Are you using mostly Claude for developing your gaming platform? I know you said last night you were using ChatGPT for the sprites, which was cool. I didn't know ChatGPT was capable of that. That's one of the things I don't understand. I don't understand why Anthropic hasn't made any kind of image generation model. It pretty much puts you in a position where you're required to have a subscription to one of their competitors. Like you could realistically have only a subscription to ChatGPT or only a subscription to Grok and still get a lot of stuff done. But with Claude, you still, no matter what, you're gonna have to have something to do your images for you. Claude's your main. Claude's your main hoe. Grok's your backup hoe. That's cool. I've floated back and forth, you know, depending on what's the best at the time. ChatGPT was my main for most of the year. I hated Claude last year because it like any question you ask, it wanted to just give you 3 pages of garbage, and I'd be like, bro, I don't want to read this much. Just give me simple answers, and I couldn't get it to ever dial down to like not give me 5 pages of word garbage. So I don't think I really started using it that much until the beginning of this year. And then I used it a lot, and then when Opus 4.8 was hot, and then once Sol came out, I've been using that a ton. And then I've also just been using the Grokster a lot. Yeah, they're definitely focused on one vertical. All right. So allegedly that is fixed. Let's check that out. Is AI implemented in such a way that it feels, so when I say being AI native, it means that you have successfully. Okay, so then this, I should be able to move this over frame by frame. Yep. Play that again. Is AI implemented in such a way that it AI tools and AI implementations. Okay, that's cool. So then I also should still have my loop control. So what this is meant to do is to be able to play a splice over and over and over and just like fine tune dial in the exact frames where it cuts. So 2 seconds plays 1 second before, 1 second at the end, 4 seconds plays two at the end, two in the beginning. So let's try that. Implemented in such a way that it feels defensible. It's part of the AI implemented in such a way that it feels defensible. That's skipping too far forward. You see that, you guys? Defensible. AI implemented in such a way that it feels is AI implemented in such a way that it feels defensible. It's part AI implemented in such a way that it feels defensible. It's part of the. Something's going on there. Let's see this. Stack. Is AI implemented in such a way that it AI tools and AI implementations. Yeah, so there's something weird going on with the nudge controls. Um, okay, so I'm just telling it to awesome. Appreciate that, man. So see how it's not doing my nudge right? In such a way that it feels it's jumping way forward. Like it's like skipping. I think it's just playing 4 seconds in total. What it should be doing is doing 2 seconds before the out and 2 seconds before the end. So that allows me to just loop over and over and over and see that exact splice and how, that part that I cut in to make sure that it just flows into each other seamlessly. Ideally, we will get to a point where I don't have any frames where I look like a retard with a stupid expression on my face, but unfortunately, I may just have to accept that as being reality because I do look like a retard. Yeah, so I'm going to push back on you on the market for asset generation. If you just think about the economy in totality, just think about whatever town you live in. How many people in your town actually need to be able to write code? How many businesses actually need to be able to write code? How many businesses in your town need to be able to create image content, text content, video content, etc. for, marketing, whatever else. I think that the asset generation I think is a much bigger TAM than coding. Also, we are gonna pretty quickly get to a point where um I don't need Anthropic. Like I'm not trying to write code that folds proteins or, like it can already do almost everything that I need. So like is the next 5 models, do I really need that? No, I probably don't. Like I'm not, the vast majority of people aren't doing ultra complicated million user concurrent thread. Most people are just building something simple for themselves. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I tell you what, dude, young people for some reason seem to hate AI stuff. Like my kids really dislike AI things for some reason. I can't tell if it's because they generally dislike it or because it's one of those things where people are just saying stuff that they've other heard other people say because they want to fit in. Kind of like the stupid daylight savings time. Like everyone that says we should be daylight savings time is just an idiot that's saying it because they heard someone else saying it. Like no one has ever actually sat down to think through the fact that in January it's going to be dark until 9 a.m. Thanks, retards. Not that hard to wake up earlier one day a year. Um, oh, you fix that. It looks cheap. I agree. Well, you also have to realize that we're in the very early stages of this, man. Um, Jesse, I don't know much about you. I do know David. You told me your rough age last night, so I don't think you probably remember what it was like on dial-up internet. Um, when we first got access to the internet at the end of the '90s, we were using dial-up 56K modems, and you literally had to sit and wait for to see a picture, like to see a picture of a naked girl. You had to wait for it to load line by line by line by line by line by line by line, and you might like you literally might sit there for 5 or 10 minutes to see a picture. Um, okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Uh, I mean, God, getting a 45-second clip would be like a 3 hour download, and now we can just, we're streaming full video from multiple devices at the same time over a satellite link, so you take that same kind of, exponential growth and assume that our image generation is at like the dial-up level, and then you play that forward, a few more generations. I think it's gonna be very hard to know the difference between real and fake, and it can already, depending on what you use it, so like someone in our community was showing an animated like cartoon style video that he had made, and I mean you really couldn't tell any difference between that and like a hand drawn anime. um so it'll get there, it's just not there yet. Okay, so this should be right now, so let's try it. Man, I love that fast preview. Set out, set in. Strategically defensible, it's positive. First, strategically defensible, it's positive. First, it's strategically defensible, it's positive. First, and this it's positive. That's awesome. I'm loving it. Okay, so one of the things that I don't like about this, so see how it just puts the scissor for every splice? I want it to actually put indicators of the exact out and in points, because some of the things that's happened when I was actually making a video is I ended up with two splices that were too close to each other, and it was hard for me to visualize when one of the out or in frames were overlapping each other. So I like the cool little scissor, but I want to go ahead and change it to the actual ins and outs. Have you guys played with, so Grok just had an Image 2.0 release, or Imagine 2.0 released yesterday. I haven't played with it. I don't do a ton with image or video generation. Actually, let's compact this because I've used up a butt ton of context. Yeah, but Jesse, you got to separate what's possible today versus what's going to be possible in the future. It's the same thing with software. If you just have one of these things build you a website, you're getting the sum of the averages. You're just going to get, you know, vibe coded, boring slop. But if you know what you want and know what to ask for and lead it through the process using your human intuition, then you can get something that looks really nice. And I think the same thing will be with images too. One of the biggest challenges with images is they just couldn't take, you know, specific feedback and adjust specific elements. We'll get there. I have faith, man. We're still so early in all this stuff. I mean, my God, dude, it hasn't even been a full year that you could like build software like this. It was August? Yeah, I literally was like copying and pasting modules from ChatGPT Windows into Visual Studio 12 months ago. Okay, good. Yeah, I think that they do dislike it, but I agree with some of what Hacker is saying that people can't always tell the difference. Well, so the creative process argument is the exact same argument that's always been used in music. And if you want to, I'm going to go ahead and advertise myself for a second here. If you want to deep dive into some of these concepts, I wrote a book called The Death of the Complexity Tax, available on Amazon, that talks about these exact things and how this is a pattern that just repeats itself over and over throughout history, where humans find a new technology and the people that have historically used that technology are threatened by it. So all they want to do is throw up gatekeeping and why it's not authentic or real. And then there's all this fear around, you know, jobs are going to be dislodged, disruption, da da da. But when you look at things in the long run, it ends up unlocking massive improvements in productivity and opportunity. So one of the great examples of that is the invention of the steam engine. When all of us were farming by hand, someone rolled this steam engine out there, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, every job is going to be gone. No one's going to have any jobs because no one's going to work in the fields anymore. World's going to end." And then there's going to be a bunch of people sitting there at the farmers market arguing, "Well, those weren't real vegetables. They weren't grown by actual people. They were grown by that steam engine, right?" It's the exact same argument. But um, lo and behold, those people that were working in the fields didn't really want to do that anyway. They were just stuck doing it. And once we had steam engines, they were able to redeploy to more interesting work. We had more vegetables, so we had less diseases. And so AI will be the same thing. So the argument that the images aren't authentic because they weren't created by humans is the same kind of thing. Eventually it will be good enough. Those people that were stuck doing graphic design won't have to do it anymore, and it'll all be good. We'll all benefit from it. Like I like to create images, but I suck at drawing. Like there's no way that I could ever draw anything decent. But now with ChatGPT and some decent prompts, I can make thumbnails. So it unlocks. Got to look on the bright side, right? You can always look at a doomer, a negative, or you can look on the bright side and the upside. A signed copy of my book. Okay. I don't really have any actual copies because I only published it through KDP. It's interesting. I've never really thought about that. Are you in my school group? I don't know if I remember your username. Have we interacted before, or are you just yanking my chain? Get me excited that I got a fan. Okay, so this looks good. I do want to drop these little in and out markers though. Oh yeah, I remember Amy. Amy was my favorite. We go way back. Whispering sweet nothings into your girlfriend's ear over a YouTube stream. Why aren't you on our school group, bro? Jump in our group. We had a freaking awesome Friday night call last night, which would have been at I think it would have been a morning time for you. I don't know. Or that would have been a really weird time. That would have been 2 a.m. So not a good time. We have some other times that work better for you though. I used to know all that when I worked at BlackRock because we would have to have meetings with all of the limeys in the morning at their evening. And then at the end of our day, we would have meetings with everyone in Asia in their morning. So you would get contact with the full globe working at BlackRock. Let's go. Join that school group. It's fun, dude. We had such a good meeting last night. There's some people in the group that are just working on amazing projects, man. Such cool stuff. Got one of them in the stream right now. Dude's doing some amazing things. Cooking some really, really cool stuff. Okay, so we've changed our scissor icons to these. I like these better. But what it's done is it's just left the same distance in there. What I want it to do is to just go ahead and give a representation of every section that I cut out. And then one thing I'm going to add in there, I'm going to add a number right here in the middle of the number of the splice. We'll let it do this first. I don't know because I don't actually have copies of it other than my copy. Because I just self-published through Amazon. And so what they do is whenever somebody buys it, they print on demand and mail it out. Um, I don't know how I would sign it either because the cover's black. I guess I would have to get one of those fancy like silver Sharpies or paint marker. And shoot, at this point, I would just be happy to have some more people read it. I haven't done any kind of advertising or anything on it. So it has very, very few sales right now. I've got one review, big time. It is ranked, it's top 2000-ish in economic theory, so I'm pretty happy with that. We get some sales here and there, but I haven't put a lot of time marketing on it. I just mostly wanted to get my thoughts out there into the world so that as people wake up to this thing that I can see, I can point and be like, hey, yeah, I had that figured out 6 months ago, bro. Another interesting chapter of what's happening in AI right now. And honestly, this all kind of crystallized when I was reading a book by David Byrd, the guy from the Talking Heads. And they were talking about how when we started having like music recorded on vinyl and then like synthesizers and stuff like that, you would always have people that played music the previous way that would argue about that it wasn't real music, right? Like music that was recorded on vinyl wasn't real music because real music had to be played live by an orchestra. Um, and what it did, like very few people had the time or the means to go watch a live orchestra performance, but everyone had the ability to buy a record player and a vinyl and listen to music. So it just opened up music to all these people that wouldn't have otherwise been able to do it. And it's the same thing with AI now, dude. Like coding is a pain in the ass. I love it, but it is a difficult thing to learn. And most people didn't want to do it. But now, you don't have to suffer through all that. You can just build. The dynamo in the computer, historical perspective on the modern productivity paradox. That sounds interesting. Let's find out more about that. Let's see if I can find that one. Go to the old Google machine. The dynamo in the computer. Is that this guy? Written in 1990. Let's go. The American Economic Association. Like it. Historical perspective on modern productivity paradox. Maybe I shouldn't read this on screen. Am I going to get copyright strike for reading this? 1990 though, it's old enough. We're fine. No one's reading, or most people are not reading ancient economic. Do you have an economics background? My education is actually in economics and finance. I love economics. You can understand so much of what happens in the world if you just understand Nash equilibrium theory. Sorry, I'm reading this. It's interesting. parallel between the modern computer and another general purpose engine. The electric dynamo. All right, let's come back. Thank you for sharing that with me. Ah, okay. I kind of thought that that's where it was going reading that front page. Yeah, dude, that's a really interesting thing that you're bringing up. Okay, so this should be good. Let's see if this plays. Ability to become AI native. Before we get into that, my name is Shane McGrath. I have 30 years of experience developing what it means to be AI native. IBM put out a nice article back in February, and I'll drop a link to that in the description below. IBM said that AI native refers to something, usually a later as a mere feature. I think that this is a good start. And then if, okay, so if I select that, I selected that. And then I should be able to play those. So no, I need to do some work on this UI down here. We've got a lot of duplication and stupidity that I don't like. But this is starting to look pretty good. Okay, let's stay focused on this. So when I pick one, I want that to stay selected so that I can see that it's picked. I like that. Okay. So I said it's looking great. When I hover over one of the splices, I see this box, but see, I want that, whenever I pick it, I want that to stay visible so that I can see that it's selected. So we'll let that get on there. Sweet timeline editor. Thank you, bro. What's going on, Will? How you been, man? Haven't seen you for a while. Backgrounds in marketing, keen interest in business management, and total nerd when it comes to models or frameworks from psychology and economics. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of overlap between psychology and economics. I never went back to grad school because I hate school. I hate having to learn at the tempo that someone else dictates. Um, I love to learn. I just hate being in school. Had I gone back to go to grad school, I wanted to go major in behavioral finance, which is an absolute fascinating field. I ended up essentially studying all those books on my own. Um, but yeah, all of the markets, especially the stock market and all that stuff, is all just really a marker of psychological patterns and profiles. And then when you look at, the great investors versus the weak ones, a lot of them, a lot of their performance, a lot of it boils down to luck. A lot of it it's luck, it's coming up with a process that no one else has used, or they just have a much better control of a lot of the psychological pitfalls that we fall into, like, hindsight bias, loss aversion, all those kind of things. Yeah, it's cool. I'm glad that you shared that with me. I think that companies are struggling with that too now, right? Especially because we're like a couple quarters into this. So their board of directors and their investors are like, well, you've put all this money into AI. Why haven't you got all the productivity gains? And there's that gap in the adoption, right? So even though the technology is there, the number of people that actually know how to implement it effectively, there's still a massive gap there. So yeah, dude, behavioral finance is awesome. Have you ever read Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow by Kahneman? This one. This is not my book. But that was a book that part of my career I worked for a global macro hedge fund, and this was kind of one of our Bibles in there. Like everyone inside that fund had read this because this breaks down a lot of our failure patterns, where the things that are hardwired into our brain lead us to repeated biases and like predictable errors. Okay, that's good. Give me just a second. Okay, I like that. I like that. Okay. Um, yeah, that's a good book. Come back and let me know what you think after you read it. I've read that one a couple times. So Nash equilibrium theory, the most basic version that most people know is the prisoner's dilemma. But if you take Nash equilibrium up to a higher level, and you see a little bit of this in that Beautiful Mind book, where if you just plot out the choices that everyone has and what the outcome happens based on what choice they make, and you keep in mind the fact that humans always act in their own self-serving interest, you can essentially predict the future and figure out where things are going to land, because people aren't going to make the choice that's better for everybody. They're going to make the choice that's best for them, and that's where it leads to. That's why you have stuff like politicians will promise all of this free crap, because that leads to them getting elected. The free crap isn't the best thing for society, because eventually we have to pay for it. We go bankrupt. You teach people not to be in charge of themselves, etc. But thanks, man. Thanks for coming, Will. Enjoy the time with the fam. Yeah. Yeah. So Nash equilibrium, is just is plot out the possible choices, plot out the rewards for each choice, assume that each side of the choice will lead to the one that gives them the biggest reward, and from that you can figure out where people will land. Not always, because you do have people that act irrationally, or there's just chaos in humans, but you can mostly figure out what's going to happen in the future through Nash equilibrium theory. Okay, so how do I want to... This is getting where I want. I'm at the point now where I want to refine this UI. So over here I have the full transcript, the before and after. I don't really know that that's super useful right now, but I'm going to leave it in there because it doesn't hurt anything. Can always get rid of that. The main point of this one is my timeline and the ability to add or adjust cuts at the very last second before we do our edit. Okay, so one thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and draw the top and bottom line of these boxes just so I can see it. Because I can tell once I get over here and I've got cuts that are close to each other, it's hard to differentiate them. I think the two colors do make it easier, but let's just go ahead and add a box to the top and the bottom. So we'll do that. So I want this to be bigger. And I don't know how to do that while I've got this timeline taking up the whole thing. I could put this into one half of the screen, and then let's stack all this over here on the other half of the screen, which will shorten the timeline, but that's fine because I'm not really looking at the entire timeline. That just looks that way because that's how I've always seen it in CapCut. We've got our boxes. Okay, so now you can see me thinking this through as I go. Okay, first of all, I don't think I need this refresh live plan. I don't think I need that, so I think we'll get rid of that. One of the things that you'll notice when you're using AI to code is they like to create very overly busy interfaces with way too much jammed in there. And I'm a big fan of very minimalistic UI design, where every single thing that's on there has a reason to be on there. It's very immediately obvious what each button does. So I think a lot of my UI sculpture is kind of similar to like making a sculpture where you've got a rock and you got to take away all the things that aren't your statue. And I think it's the same thing here where we have a UI, but I've got to take away all the things that aren't my UI. Okay, good. So then the real hero of this show is the ability to slightly nudge these if I need to, add manual cuts if I need to, and just play the whole video. So I don't think I need this. I don't think I need this at all. I can always add this back later. Let's just get rid of that. That'll clear up more screen space. So I'm asking it to get rid of the left-hand card that shows the transcript. Just comment it out in case I want to add it back. I planned on working on 2 projects at the same time, but Grok tends to go so fast that I've just been working on this one. I still need to do some work on the Vibe Code Guild brain. Who else is still out there? Hacker, you still out there? Yes, and what kind of projects have you been working on? All right, so that is gone. Okay, good. So I still think, you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to take this video preview panel. We're going to pop it over here so that I can see it bigger because I'm old and this is too small for my eyes. And then we're going to slowly start moving these up here. That's what we're going to do. All right, so I'm asking it to do a split layout. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all these controls, we're going to pop them all over here. We're going to have our video preview over here. It's only going to be responsible for showing the video. All my controls will be over here. So I can do everything I need and keep my mouse all in one spot. When you're building UIs, you want to really think about how much you have to move around. You know, keep things that you're using frequently all grouped together tightly. That's how you get speed. Creating a Grammarly competitor. I love it. Isn't a Grammarly competitor just using like normal spell check on Word though? Or is it just that it checks your grammar embedded in other apps? Is that what I'm missing? I've always seen those Grammarly commercials and I never understood. I'm like, wait, I can just hit F7 in Word and it checks my spelling. An AI model to recognize different species of birds. That would be cool. That would be one that you could monetize, right? Because birding is a pretty big hobby for a lot of older gentlemen who probably have no interest in learning to code. Wait, what the hell is this? Okay, cool. That's looking better. Okay. That's looking better. Okay. So I want okay, those aren't as important right here. Yeah. Is Grammarly able to, like, are you able to set regions on that? Like, could you specify it to be British English instead of American English? Or like Aussie English instead of South African English, for example? Because they are very different languages, man. I learned that when I first started working at, well, it was BGI, Barclays Global Investors, before we got bought by BlackRock. But I would have these calls with all these people in London and I'd be like, dude, I have no idea what the hell you just said. I know we're technically speaking the same language, but I have no idea what you just said. Helping you write for your target audience. Nice. So if you were like a high schooler, would it be able to like lump in high school slang like I don't know, what are the words that these stupid kids say? Mid and fam and low key, low key cooked, stuff like that. Okay. I think I want this at the bottom. So let's put the cut timeline at the bottom. And I think actually the way that this is laying out, what we can do is we can nudge this up to here, and then I can put this cut timeline. Actually, I don't need it scrolling all the way across because there's no reason to be moving around. Let's just keep it compact. I don't need to see all this. It doesn't matter. Let's just move it below. Let's move that down. I feel so lazy doing this because I literally could just go in and like cut and paste code, but Why would I touch code when I've got Grok to do this for me? What kind of heathen writes their own code nowadays? Yeah, that's good. Okay, so we're getting close. So now some of these need to be compressed. I don't know what that is. We got a little bit too much information in there. Okay, let's get rid of this. That text, this one. Then whatever the hell this is, I can't even see that. That'll clean up. Yeah, exactly. I like that. It's a good use case. It's a good use for AI too. I think the future, honestly, is probably smaller, more specialized models. Like, I don't need a model that can do all these different things. Like, I need one model that can just crush Java, and another model that can just crush CSS. And then there's some orchestrator at the top that knows when to pick each one. This does nothing. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. That does nothing. Yeah, I think about it in the context of like if you were building a company, you wouldn't just go try to hire 10 people that know everything. You would hire 10 different subject matter experts. But what these companies are doing is trying to build one giant God level model that knows everything. Where, and I think Microsoft is moving towards this now, where they've got these, smaller models. I think that, resource wise, making those specialized vertical models probably gives you a lot more. Going off on tangents, man. I love going off on tangents. I'm good at that. So let's get rid of that text. Good. And then this play, cut, and pause button, I don't need two of those. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these buttons, we're going to condense it into one, and we're going to put it right here, which is where I need it. I need to be able to play pause right next to my timeline. So I'm telling it, In the live cut preview, we have this play cut and pause cut as separate buttons. I want to just make one play button right here in the middle of the cut timeline header row. And then I want it to be the same size as these. So that will also simplify the UI quite a bit. Yeah, your finance guy stays in his lane and doesn't get involved in marketing or design. Yeah. It's also just a better use of resources. You know, like if you try to be an expert in everything, you end up being a master of none. At some point, you kind of got to specialize. Yeah, ask about finance director for P&L. Shit. Nowadays with these models, you ask the finance for P&L and you're going to get, you know, some answer about who knows what. It's definitely one of the things you got to deal with is the drift. Oh, we lost our... Okay, I need to fix that. I'm asking it to make this button bigger. I want it to just take up all the rest of the blank space so that I can just get to it anywhere I'm at. This font is smaller than this font, which is just kind of annoying to me. And then we've got this playhead here, but see how I got to go find it and move it around? I want to just, wherever I click, it just moves right to that. Because that's kind of what it does in CapCut. So I want that behavior as well. We are getting closer and closer to having a very elegant UI for this. Do you actually live in London or do you live somewhere else in the UK? I've been to London a lot of times. I used to go there for at least a couple weeks every quarter. Although I literally have never ever once had good weather in London. Never. I've been there every single time of the year and it's always terrible weather. All right, that looks good. Cool. Perfect. Day to day. When you're able to shut off your brain and into your trying to sell you. Okay, this is good, you guys. This is good. That's okay. Now, the other buttons that are super important are these preview buttons. It's these 2 second, 4 second, 6 second. I'm going to pop those right in here. But one of the things that I don't like right now is they're only really applicable to this manual cut, and I want them to be applicable to any cut that I pick. So first of all, let's move those down. Okay, we'll do that. Live in Stratfordshire. Let's figure out where that is. Stratfordshire. Oh, dang, right in the middle. Yeah, I never really got to go outside of London. I went there one time and we did like the tourist things and went to like Bath and the that circle. What the hell's that circle? The circle with the rocks. And then one of the last times I went over there, I ended up staying with somebody who I was working with, and he has a house somewhere out here outside of London where you have to take a train for like an hour to get out there, and there's still like 200-year-old pubs, and that was really nice. I really liked it. But yeah, all my time was always stuck in London, and I would always go eat in London Chinatown because no offense, but most of the food in the London financial district sucks unless you eat Indian food. And I do love Indian food, but so yeah, at some point I'd like to go back out there and just go cruise through the countryside. You know, like there's a whole bunch of it that I've never been able to see. I've been to London like 30 freaking times. Stonehenge, that's what it is. Okay, perfect. The So right now, my 2 second, 4 second, 6 second loops, those only work if I add a manual cut, and I want to be able to have those work for these ones too. So that should just be a little simple thing to edit. Yeah. I tell you what though, man, there's some incredible Indian restaurants there. I'm just not a super big fan of like traditional British food. That's the kind of food my mom cooked when I was a kid, where your spices exist of salt and pepper, and then maybe she throws a can of cream of mushroom soup in there. And it's like, dude, there's no flavor. This is, I like potatoes, but I need some flavors on the potatoes. And I don't really eat fish, so fish and fries wasn't really super appetizing to me either. Mostly, honestly, it's just white people food, and I can already get white people food in America. It's like whenever I go to other countries, I want to get some other interesting food. That's why I love Asia, dude. You can get some weird stuff everywhere you go in Asia that you're never going to find anywhere else. Frog on a stick, who knows? That's being AI native. When you're applying AI to something, if it is, that's being AI native. When you're applying AI, being AI native. When you're applying AI to something, all right, that's looking good. Okay, so now we need to move our manual cut. This is way too much here. I don't think that I need this thing. I don't need that because I'm doing it all from the timeline. What I need is just an out and an in button. And I think I'm going to pop those right here underneath. Um, All right, we're getting closer. I think we're going to be able to condense all of this stuff into one really nice compact panel where I can just work super fast. It's pretty cool. Got 6 people in here watching. It's exciting. Can never tell how many people are watching on Twitter though. For some reason this thing doesn't get like live updates from Twitter. I don't get any chat from Twitter. I do think I'm going to go ahead and do the upgrade this week to stream on some of the other platforms. Is Stonehenge one of those things that you just see one time? Or if somebody is visiting from another country? Like, is that pretty much the only reason you would ever go there if you live in Britain? With that backdrop, first, and this one is successful. With that backdrop, first, and this one is huge. Okay, cool. So we've got a new manual clip. But I can't clear that. So let's see. We definitely have things like that here where it's like you pretty much would never go there unless one of your people from visiting from out of town like kind of force you to go there. Like Alcatraz. Although I've lived in the Bay Area 20 years and I still have never gone to Alcatraz. There's just something about paying money to go to jail that just seems stupid to me. What's another good one? Going and walking on the Golden Gate Bridge. You know, that's one that the tourists like to go walk on Golden Gate Bridge, but it's like, it's just like any other bridge. Once you've done it, you've done it. But, you know, gotta go do it when your friends are in town. There's other spots where you want to take your friends to where it's like places that you look forward to going to. Like some of the places where you can go view the city are just wonderful to go back to. It's got to be the same thing with Stonehenge where it's like, okay, I've seen the rocks. I'll take you, but I'm not excited. Unless you're a druid. Are you a druid and you secretly go? Getting dinner done? What'd you eat, man? Did you cook? I don't know about you guys, but I've been cooking a lot more the last 12 months. Because going out to eat is just not worth it anymore. It's so dang expensive. Like you basically can cook, you know, three days worth of food for the price of one meal going out to eat. And that's not even going to a fancy place where you got a tip. Like lasagna. There you go. See, that's a great one. You can cook lasagna and you're going to have like leftovers for another 2 or 3 meals. Love that. I think a lot of my cooking revolves around what's going to make good leftovers. Because it's like if I'm going to put the time and effort, not even into cooking, I enjoy the cooking. It's the time and effort of like cleaning up afterwards. I would like to get multiple meals out of that effort. So burritos. Burritos has been one of my go-to meals the entire time I've been an adult. You can cook up, you know, 3 pounds of like burrito beef. And then you can eat, you know, half the week. Get it out, heat some beef up in the microwave, pop a tortilla, throw some cheese and other stuff on it, good to go. You got a meal made in like 2 minutes. Oh, you took down a whole lasagna? You didn't look that fat though. You didn't look like the kind of guy that's taking down a whole lasagna. If you're taking down a whole lasagna, you tend to be shaped like Garfield. I am shaped like somebody that would take down a whole lasagna. I am at peak fatness right now. Peak fatness. All right, let's go back in here. All right, so I've got my manual preview. Don't think the remove button is working. Oh, I got to restart the API. All right. Small lasagna. Was it home cooked lasagna or is it one of those like Costco frozen lasagnas? I think Trader Joe's has some small, like 2 people lasagnas. See, I think when I think of lasagna, I'm thinking of like the full, like, you know, casserole sized giant lasagna. There we go. That looks good. Okay, cool. See, right there, that should have trimmed out my stupid face. But I removed it. Okay, cool. We are getting there, you guys. Frozen lasagna. You're 290? You did not look like a 290 guy in that video. God damn. I'm getting up there, man. I don't even know what I weigh right now. I'm scared to weigh myself. I'm fat enough where it's uncomfortable to sit down now because my fat gut is just pushing on everything and getting sweaty. I really need to get back in shape. Got 100 messages with restream chat. You wear it well. Are you like super tall? Okay, I'm liking these. 6 feet? Okay, it's not super tall. Yeah, mid-30s is where it starts to get harder and harder to lose weight. Okay, this is looking good. So now the next thing that I want to compact here is this in-frame and out-frame controls, the nudges. What do I want to do there? I don't think that this text adds anything, so let's take this out. let's get rid of that text. Okay. And then I don't need these buttons. Don't need those buttons. Okay. And then I think I like having these up here because they're closer to my play buttons. These are the ones that I move the most to nudge frames around. So we'll keep those there. I think the last thing I want is to just change some of this label. Like this is hard to read and not really useful. So we're going to get rid of this small text. We're going to keep the time stamp, and then we're just going to move this frame number right up here. That'll make that all compact. And then I think we are good, you guys. And I think I'm going to have a little number down here underneath. Okay. So we'll get this font to be the same. And I think this is most of the changes that I wanted to make. So I'm ready to record another video. I do think I want to add some more graphics though. Okay, that looks good. Let's go ahead and make this be the same frame, same font. We got different. You don't want the font bigger on all that stuff. Now we're getting into like super piddly, fidgety stuff. Now I just asked, make sure all these buttons have the same font size and style. I think it's sloppy when you got a bunch of different font sizes all over the place. Did I lose you guys? I'm gonna have to jump off in a little while. I don't know what. Oh, that's what that is. Okay, that's the zoom control. Okay, I need that. Are you working too? I don't like this for some reason. Let's just change that into a drop down. So we'll turn this text into a drop down so I can pick a specific frame if I need to. And then I think we're going to be good on this. I think I'm going to call victory. So one of the things I'm going to need to start adding to this that's a major missing feature is the ability to like clip out shorts. That's another thing that they want to charge subscriptions for, and I'll be damned if I'm going to pay for that. I do not need to pay for that. Okay, good. This is updating with the current selection. That's good. And let's get rid of this. I don't need that text there. And then we're going to move the video up. Arrow. Why was that so hard to find? You guys love my wonderful image editing skills. I'll tell you what, guys, I am loving this. This is really getting dialed in here. I love how fast you can just blow through these changes, man. Anyone that's done traditional software engineering, I think, knows how much of a pain it is to do all this stuff. Okay, that looks good. Actually, let's do a box. Get rid of that extra space down here. We don't need that. Then we'll go ahead and truncate this card. I'm going to expand this a little bit vertically. I want that to be a little bit wider, probably 2x the height that it is now. And then we are going to consider this bad boy locked, man. This is exciting. All right, that looks good. Hey, Hacker, have you thought about adding common controls to your games? Where it's like controls where things that are gonna, like, that all games are gonna have, like new game, pause, the ones to move from one game to the next, something like that, where it's like a control library that's always implemented for people. I don't know if I lost you guys. You guys still around? Oh, okay. They already give them the controls. Yeah. New to making games. That's where I thought if you can take some of those things out of their hands and allow them just to focus on the game mechanics and allow some of those like platform level decisions to be handled for them. It gives you more control over the end client experience, but then it also like lowers the learning curve for the people that are trying to build stuff. Audio features such as audio compression. So I do have audio compression. We have this tool that I built in here called Audio Normalizer. It's pretty simple. It just uses FFmpeg, but it goes through and it looks at the entire video, and then it just squishes everything down and corrects it. And I haven't got too deep into that because I just don't know that much about the audio correction yet. So I wanted to just get something that was better than what I have. And you definitely can tell a huge difference between the video that has it applied and the ones that don't. So the reducing echo, I don't know about all that. Some of the stuff I think I need to just like also do some treatment in the room. Maybe adding some like sound dampening. Like I do have some sound dampening panels that I should have installed in here to make it more of a quiet room. But yeah, dude, I've got so many things I want to improve. I mean, God, if you go back a month and a half ago, I was just using the microphone on my webcam with no correction, and it's terrible. It sounds so bad. That's the fun part. I don't think I'm going to run out of things that I want to fix. I would like to get a better camera. That's going to be one of my upgrades. I want to upgrade just to a higher quality video camera. Okay, that looks good. Okay. Said I want the timeline container 2x the height that it is now, have the timeline bar centered in that space with the head marker and splice markers 2 times their current height. So I just want to expand this. It's a little bit compacted still. Yeah. I mean, my biggest thing is to just, you know, keep putting stuff out and then just try to improve a little bit on each one and just get better and better and better. So the biggest thing that I've been having to solve is just the time and the production process. I can write scripts well because I've been, writing for a lot of my career, and then recording it. I got a teleprompter in July. That made a big difference. And then the big hang up now has been just taking that video clip and turning it into something useful. So this process of cutting out all the dead space and all that was taking up a ton of time. And then the process of adding graphics to my videos has been, ate up a ton of time. But we're getting that finally dialed in. A $50 guitar with a $500 amp will always be better than a $500 guitar with a $50 amp. So what are the corollaries to that in the video process? Is it just having a better camera and a better microphone? Or is it just adding more treatment to the room? And I've got the window open. You guys can probably hear some of the outside noise bleeding in here too, I'm guessing. Okay, this looks better. I like that. Love it. Okay. I've got this like Cheap mic and camera with smart post-processing will always outperform a super expensive mic and camera with no post-processing. Okay. Yeah. The audio normalizer thing makes a massive, massive difference. I don't have any camera post-processing though. That's where I had thought about upgrading and getting the Elgato, because Elgato's got a camera with a lot of like filtering and light adjustment features in it. I'm literally just running off of a webcam now. But you're basically saying I could probably add stuff into this software that I'm building to be able to do post-processing adjustments to my actual video. Smart background blur. So the first few videos that I had, I was using the NVIDIA broadcast software, and I was putting a virtual background behind me because I just had my desk sitting in my room with all the messy crap behind it. But I didn't like it because I have long hair, it just made this like weird ghosting effect around my head. And so I moved my room around and I got it to where I have my actual background behind me. So I don't love the blur background. I want to have like the actual real background. But I do like the idea of being able to adjust the color saturation and some of that. But again, that's something I don't know enough about. AI implementations into your organization. Okay, this is stupid. I don't know what this is. So it added that time ruler. I said, I don't like the time ruler. I want something that says the time it's currently playing and the total length of our proposed video after cuts are applied. Let me know if that makes sense. I suspect the math may be a challenge relative to the time of the unedited footage and our cut footage. Hey, you guys, can you hear the car noise? We live relatively close to the freeway, so I hear a lot of freeway noise, which sucks, but I much prefer not having to drive 10 extra minutes to get to the freeway. I can just leave, get right on the freeway, and get where I need to go. So we sacrifice a little bit of noise for a little bit of convenience. Life is about trade-offs. It's all a giant series of trade-offs. I'm gonna have to go in about 5 more minutes. Gotta go pick up my lady. Smoking cigars, actual cigars, or the wacky cigars? Don't answer that though. I was a smoker for most of my life, but I managed to get done with it close to 6 years ago, which is awesome, man. All right, let's do this. Okay, cool. Yep. AI is probabilistic. This means that you will always get a different result when you use an AI agent. An AI agent. Tell you what, this guy that's in these videos is freaking, he's all right. This guy makes some good content. You guys should go watch him and follow him. He's pretty solid. Tell you what, you guys, I'm very, very happy with this. I really like this set of controls. Everything in here has a purpose. It is laid out in a way that minimizes the amount of time I have to move around making the adjustments I need to make. So very optimized from that perspective. Yeah, this has been a big step forward in this last phase. And this was really the only reason that I had been using CapCut anymore. Like this officially retires CapCut for me. Are all in a panic rush to go AI native. I want to define what it means to be AI native. IBM put out a I think the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some more vertical padding in all these things to fill it out a little bit more. So last thing, let's add some vertical padding between some of the rows of buttons and controls so it's not so compressed. Then we are declaring victory, bro. Yeah, dude, I'd love to see that. So part of what part of my challenge with this software is I don't really know shit about making videos. And so I've had to learn a lot of that. That was the real challenge that I ran into with the graphics thing is I just didn't even know what the right words were to even ask. So when I start talking to these models, I'm basically giving it gibberish because I don't know the right words. So I used Notebook LM to go out and do research into the concepts of video production and start teaching myself the right vocabulary and jargon. And that allowed me to get much better in what I was asking for, what I was trying to build, the language I was using in skills and etc. And I think it's the same thing too. I would love to see a video optimizer tool. And then I think it's just, something I'm going to just put some time researching and learn about. Yeah, this is awesome, dude. Except I don't want so much padding here. Let's just go ahead and fill this up. You see how I get kind of like anal retentive at the end of how things look? So I said, let's keep this card the same size, but extend the height of the markers and head to use up 90% of the space. So I just want to make them bigger. And then I think I am happy with that. I might move this down to here. But I'm getting to the point where I'm just kind of fidgeting. Yeah, did you join my school group? I can't remember if you did or not. I think you did. I think I found my guy here. I mean, if you're not going to go, at least send Amy. You know, she can come hang out with us. We had a lady on one of our calls last night, which was awesome. It wasn't a total sausage fest anymore. You know, send her. Her and I'll get to know each other. Let's go. That's being AI native. Yeah, definitely help to AI to something, interact and get to know you more. It's been one of the greatest parts about making some of these content is I'm meeting really cool, really interesting people that are working on really cool stuff, and that I love that. All right, I got two more things that are annoying me. Compact. What's up, Animal Chins? You made it just in time for me to log off, dude. I'm almost done for the day, bro. How's the North Pole? Did you get those elves working? We're not that far away from Christmas, dude. They need to be starting to make some of these toys. I'm pretty sure the American stores are probably going to start having Christmas stuff inside the stores within 3 or 4 weeks. They start that crap earlier and earlier every year. I'm sure that they've got Halloween stuff already. I don't go shopping though, so I don't really know. I like to avoid going out in public and being around weird people. Two last changes. So I asked it to move this over here. It looks weird centered there. And then I want to move this down there, make the font size the same as everything else. And then biggity bam, we are done. Went fishing today. Let's go. Do you eat the trout or you just catch and release? Kind of mismarked the title of this stream because I had planned on be working on the Vibe Code Guild Brain project, and I ended up getting bogged down working in my content command center. So apologize for the false advertising. But this has been a very good 2-hour session. There's a massive improvement in our workflow here. This eliminates CapCut. Like I literally have no reason to touch CapCut again. Smoked the trout and beers. It's not too bad. Everybody needs a weird buddy. I suspect that I am usually the weird buddy. I'm actually the friend that is not allowed to hang out with his friends after they get married because I was way too rowdy and reckless and too much of a troublemaker when I was younger. So most of my younger life, whenever my kids would get married, it was basically saying goodbye to them because their wives would never let them hang out with me anymore. See how you can see Grok arguing with itself about the layout. All right, this is awesome, you guys. I am super pumped about this. It's still arguing with itself about the layout. Almost there. Just want to move this back up, leave this here, and I'm happy. I'm super, super happy. Very cool interface for this. There we go. That is awesome. All right, let's have a celebration. You guys like that clapping into the microphone there? Very professional, am I not? Very professional. All right, bros. Thank you guys for being here with me while I've been coding this. Very nice to have you guys in the chat interacting. Makes coding a lot more fun when I got people to talk to. So I'll see you guys soon. I more than likely will be on here streaming again tomorrow. For the next few hours, I got to go pick up my lady and spend some time with her. And then back to work. So peace and elbow grease. We'll see you guys again soon.